Horizon Forbidden West on the PC is perfect for those who just built a new rig or bought a fancy new nvidia graphics card like me. I played on an MSI Geforce RTX 4080 Super on ultra wide. To keep it spoiler free though, I only used footage from the first 3 hours of the game. It's an action role-playing game originally published for the Sony PlayStation. It's a post-apocalyptic version of Western USA in the aftermath of an extinction event caused by robots, and damn does it look beautiful. This is not quite the crisis of our generation, but anyone with a decent rig will definitely want to check out this game because the PlayStation really didn't do it justice. Now, this is a quick review by someone who primarily plays on PC and only has briefly touched the first Horizon game. If I can like it, so can you. So, did I like it? First, the graphics card. The goal for many is an RTX 4090, which is a massive boy I had to build a custom case and brace for. But if you have more discerning taste, let me introduce the all-new MSI Gaming Slim series. I'm playing on it right now and I have to say it's impressed me. Say goodbye to bulky, saggy graphics cards. It delivers powerful GeForce RTX 40 graphics with a thinner profile that will fit in almost any case. MSI's Tri-Frozer 3 thermal design enhances heat dissipation, providing exceptional thermal performance and ultra-quiet acoustics. To further this, the fans switch off when the GPU isn't working hard, giving you incredible cooling when you need it and dead silence everywhere else. Perfect for me since I want to record my videos in silence. So be sure to check out the card at the link below, and let's get right back into it. Usually journalists like to structure their videos with the story and narrative up front, but in this game, on the PC, I felt you needed to know that combat is fantastic and the highlight of the game for me. You start off feeling wildly outgunned, and you're a little girl facing off against giant robot beasts. You'll have to utilize stealth, smarts, and trickery to take them out. That is, until you figure out their weaknesses, weak points, and get access to a large amount of useful tools that have you feeling like a badass every single time you bring something down. It never really gets old. Your main weapon of choice is bow and arrow, which you can get many versions of. Arrows come in a variety of elemental damage types which hit different enemies' weaknesses. On the PlayStation, you need to use a weapon wheel to switch, then aim with the joystick. You can master the joystick and turn sensitivity all the way up, but even a noob on the mouse and keyboard will find aiming a breeze. You'll be shooting at fast-moving enemies like a pro in no time, then switching to the right weapons without a thought. You want to get good at targeting weak points because it's also how you'll fuel crafting. By breaking off parts of enemies, you can pick them up and use them to build things. There's a crazy amount of customization in this game. There are 6 skill trees to tailor your playstyle to your liking, and they do change how you approach the fights. You can be more of a trapper, setting and luring, or you can be more of a shoot first, ask questions later kind of girl, or even take the stealthy approach. You'll have ultimate abilities in each called Valor Surges, like the aforementioned stealth one that has you cloaked for a period, and another in the survival tree that gives you a powerful heal and buff. Sound design is great, melee attacks are crunchy and impactful, and even the little clicks and rolls going through the menu stand out. However, I can't say the same about the music. It's entirely forgettable. When you compare that to something like Mass Effect, which still has me humming the suicide mission theme, or the song at the end of Mass Effect 1, it really just doesn't stand up. I had to go and scrub through the footage to see if it even had different tracks. Yes, music does amp up to represent tense moments, but tuning the volume doesn't excuse the lack of an impactful track. It's not at levels of Tiny Tina's Wonderland's bad, but I expect more from a AAA title like this. This isn't an extremely big RPG that's going to consume hundreds of hours. No, you can complete this within 30, which actually was a breath of fresh air, as lately we've had a few large games that drag on. The pacing though was not great. The twists and turns in the narrative came a bit too late for me. The whole first half feeling like it took too long to peak. No, it wasn't a bore. The world building is firmly at its core, but its story is a chore. Yes, you will be spending a bit of your time in cutscenes. Sometimes the game takes way too long to get through those dialogue dumps, which is further exacerbated by the fact that there are no meaningful choices to make during them. I would have rather watched cinematics than be forced to click meaningless options. There are no ups and downs, and the main character, Aloy, gets worshipped in every conversation. Many moments I rolled my eyes and sighed. This is no Mass Effect, none of the companions are that interesting. They never question you, there's no back and forth, there isn't any interesting turns, they just exist to think Aloy poops gold. There are too many overly positive filtered attitudes in companions which feels unnatural. With all this drama around companies being forced to modify their games to meet particulars, it does feel like that was done here. Almost all major characters are women and the men are mostly morons, which is fine, whatever, it's their game, but everyone is just so boring. No one has the grit and dirt beyond the visual, of course. This isn't a woke versus not woke conversation, it's simply a matter of boring writing in my opinion. So I don't care about the main character or other characters for that matter at all, but here's the thing. This all sounds like I'd give this game a 5 out of 10, but the gameplay is so good and the world is so beautiful that it offsets that almost completely. Hell, if the story wasn't there at all, you'll still very much enjoy the rest of it. It seems the first game's story can be very easily summarized in a video, so you could play Forbidden West as your entry point. Really, you should, as there's nothing overly compelling that you're missing, and the gameplay is wildly better here. All that being said, the performances are well done and it's obvious that they were mo-capped. There are no stiff characters. The camera zooms back and you can see their arms flailing expressively, subtle facial movements are recorded, eyes dart around, and characters display emotions like real people. I just played Andromeda for a retrospective video that turned into one giant joke, so perhaps my bar is low. Graphically, characters look beautiful in that some are beautifully ugly. They were very much making a statement. Speaking of beautiful, there are no shortage of beautiful environments in Horizon Forbidden West. Each biome has its own charm, and there are a lot of them. From deserts to forests to lakes, beaches, snowy areas to mountainous regions, but also interesting settlements in each, all vastly different. There'll be many moments you stop just to think, wow, that looks good. Like you'd expect, you have a golden path through the story, but also side missions which help build your character via experience, but also often give unique gear. So those rushing through will find it a little more difficult at the endgame, which isn't easy, while also having far less choice. These side missions are well done, voiced with narratives of their own that tie into the main world around them, and sometimes the main missions at large. This isn't a choice-driven RPG though, and you won't have any consequences within them that shape things around you. You grab the missions, you do them, and you get your rewards. I would have hoped to see settlements and people change around me based on what I did, but I guess I'll have to get that from Dragon's Dogma 2 instead. Just look at the map. It's full of Far Cry-like symbols marking missions and points of interest. There's a high density of things to do in the world, and thankfully it doesn't become overwhelming. Yes, like Far Cry, you will be clearing out camps, in this case of rebels, and you'll be collecting things, but nothing really feels Suicide Squad-y, like you're doing the same thing over and over. Each mission feels unique. The puzzles, which remind me a lot of God of War, were all different, and though not particularly hard, they will require different parts of your brain to solve. Like Red Dead Redemption 2, you'll often find things simply by exploring as well. So though you can plot around ticking off map objectives, you often are rewarded simply for wandering around. The Complete Edition also includes the DLC, which is a nice little extra bit of story in a new environment and contains new gear, though it really doesn't change the game in a fundamental way. Overall, Horizon Forbidden West is a fun game with some incredible graphics and engaging gameplay. If the story didn't hold it back, it would be one of the most memorable titles of our generation.